You know, people don't really talk about failure the way they should. Most of us walk around pretending everything is fine, hiding the cracks behind polite smiles and teared eyes. But every person you see on the street, every face you pass, has fallen. Some have fallen so many times they lost count. And yet, they get up again and again. That's what makes us human. Not perfection, but persistence. A reflective pause. If you could gather the wisdom of all the people who have stumbled through life, the ones who have lost jobs, dreams, relationships, health, you would start to hear a pattern. A quiet voice underneath the pain saying, "This too shall teach you." Every scar, every detour, every heartbreak carries a hidden message. And the people who listen, who stop blaming, stop running, and simply listen, are the ones who grow. Not taller, not richer, but deeper. The first lesson: acceptance of the present. One of the hardest lessons people learn is acceptance. We grow up believing life should go according to the plan. But life does not care about our plans. It unfolds in its own rhythm. There was once a man who spent years chasing his perfect life, the perfect career, the perfect partner, the perfect version of himself. But the more he chased, the further peace drifted away. It was not until everything fell apart that he finally stopped. And in that silence, he realized life was never meant to be perfect. It was meant to be real. And when he accepted that truth, the noise inside him quieted. Acceptance did not mean giving up, it meant finally showing up for life as it is. The second lesson: failure is not the end, it's a mirror. When people fail, they often think something is wrong with them. But failure is not punishment, it's feedback. It's life's way of saying, "This path is not yours, try again, but differently." Think about the people who have achieved something meaningful. Every inventor, artist, leader, parent, dreamer, all of them have stories soaked in future. They just refuse to let it define them. One woman I once knew lost everything when her business collapsed. For months, she hated herself. But one morning, she woke up and asked, "What if this is not the end, but the beginning of who I really am?" That single question changed everything. Failure, when faced with honesty, becomes a mirror. It shows us what we value, what we need to change, and what we are truly made of. The third lesson: slowing down to heal. In a world obsessed with progress, slowing down feels like failure. But every person who's truly healed will tell you growth happens in the process. When the people stop running from their pain, they start understanding it. There is a kind of wisdom that only silence can give. The kind you find in early mornings when the world has not yet started shouting. That's when you remember who you are beneath all the noise. The people who learn to rest, to reflect, to breathe, they become unshakable because they have made peace with the quiet. The fourth lesson: the power of letting go. There is a saying, you can't fill your hands with new blessing if you are still holding onto the old. People hold on to everything: guilt, resentment, lost opportunity. They carry them like stones, wondering why life feels so heavy. But when you let go, truly let go, something beautiful happens. You create space for new love, new purpose, new peace. A man once told me, the hardest thing I ever did was not moving on. It was forgiving myself. And when he finally did, he said, it felt like breathing after years underwater. The fifth lesson, finding meaning, not control. The most people spend their lives trying to control what happens to them. But meaning does not come from control. It comes from connection, connecting with what matters, with whom we are, and with the moment we are in. The happiest people are not the ones who have everything under control. They are the ones who can look at the chores of life and still say, even here, I can find purpose. Meaning is not found in the outcome. It's found in how you choose to live each moment. That's the quiet revolution happening in millions of hearts every day. The sixth lesson, self-compassion over self-judgment. Here is some people forget. You can't hate yourself into becoming better. The people who grow the most are not the ones who punish themselves. They are the ones who forgive themselves. Self-compassion does not mean weakness. It means understanding that you are a work in progress, and that's okay. You can learn, you can start again, you can fall and still rise with grace. When you begin to treat yourself with kindness, your entire world changes. The voice in your head becomes softer, your mistakes become lesser, and your days become lighter. The seventh lesson, gratitude as a way of seeing. People think gratitude is about being thankful for big things, promotions, love, achievement. But real gratitude is about noticing the small things, the smell of coffee, a message from a friend, the feeling of sunlight through a window. The people who practice gratitude don't necessarily have more, they simply see more. And when you start seeing what's already good, life begins to unfold differently, because peace is not found in having more, but in needing less. The eighth lesson, choosing depth over speed. Every generation moves faster, but the wisdom of life has always been the same: slow down. The people who rush through life rarely feel it, but those who pause, observe, reflect, they begin to live deeply. They notice how moments connect, how failure transforms, how love evolves, how time whispers. Depth comes when you stop trying to get somewhere and realize you are already here. The moment right now is enough. So, what do people learn after failing many times? They learn that the fall was never the end, it was part of the journey. They learn that peace is not something you find later, it's something you create now. They learn that every ending is just quieter kind of beginning. Life is not asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to be present. And maybe after all the noise fades, That's what we are here for. Not to conquer time, but to learn how to live inside it. Please subscribe, like, and share our channel. Thank you for watching.